Hey everyone, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel, coming at you on the way to my other job, my non-reselling job, because I just have not had time over the last 2 nights to put any videos together. The reason for that is because I have been super busy processing a massive haul of collectibles that have cleared out of an estate. It's the second time I've gone back to this place, and it's just been an absolute gold mine. So there's going to be a lot of stuff from that that's going to be featured on What Sold videos coming up in the future. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But, you know, it got me thinking. It kind of dovetails with another subject that I wanted to talk to you about, which is the topic of thrift stores and Goodwill and Savers and Salvation Army, Thrifty Shopper, whatever they're called near you. A lot of people have been mentioning on their YouTube channels that they have noticed that, and not only that, also in Facebook reselling groups, that these places are really dried up in terms of a place where you can go to be able to source reliably. Doesn't mean you can't find something occasionally. Like last year I found a nativity set from Italy, and I recognized it was valuable because we used to have it when I was a kid. Got it for $1 and wound up flipping it for like 75 bucks. But those opportunities are few and far between in my experience. Around here where I live in central New York, the thrift stores are absolutely atrocious. They're terrible. And at first I just thought that was what the situation was like near me. However, after I realized that, I started looking around and seeing that other people were mentioning the same thing. I mean, Rockstar Flipper mentioning that in places where he's gone to, and in Florida. Craigslist Hunter, super experienced picker. He just put a video up where he went to 5 or 6 thrift stores, and a bunch of them came out completely empty-handed because a lot of the stuff is completely overpriced. Or it's damaged and it's overpriced. So it's really become a problem. That's why you never really see me, in fact never see me, going to thrift stores in any of my videos. So, when I'm going out and I'm trying to find stuff. So sorry for that glare in the background. Nothing I could really do about that right now until I turn. But so why is this a problem? It's basically like, imagine everyone was thirsty and there's a watering hole, and someone discovers this watering hole and word gets out that there's one nearby. It really becomes popular. Everyone starts going to it, and eventually, after everyone starts drinking from the watering hole, what's going to happen? There's not going to be enough water left. And it's actually a good analogy, because if you think about it, a watering hole, it just stays still. It's, it's pretty much static, and you've got to kind of go over to it. And that's the same thing with a thrift store. It's convenient in one way in that everything's all there in one location, but the problem is it's a static location. It's always there. It's, open from 8 to 5 or whatever, maybe 8 to 9 o'clock, depending on the day. And everyone could go there and hit it up whenever they want to. So, that's a problem, is that it's the easiest place to go to. And when it's the easiest place to go to, the problem with that is that it's just going to be, much more readily available for everybody. And the chances are that by the time you get there, a lot of the stuff's going to be picked through. Now, there's some ways that you could work around that. If you are able to kind of get an in and figure out when it is they're going to bring something out for the first time, right off those racks. I mean, that actually happened to me once, and I wound up finding some good stuff. So if you were the first person that could pick through it, then you could do well. Now, of course, you could pick any thrift store, go in it, and chances are you might find something somewhere that somebody missed, but it's gonna take a lot of time to do that. So and how much are you really going to come out with? That's the thing. So that leads to my next point, and kind of dovetails back with what I've been doing recently at this estate hauls, estate clear out. If you really want to be successful and able to find places where you could more reliably get great materials at low prices that you can flip for high profit, you have to start thinking beyond thrift stores. Now, before I go into this, if you're someone watching this who has an amazing thrift store by you, and there's not a lot of resellers, and you're doing great, and you're just raking in the profit from going in there, no pun intended, absolutely keep going back to it, keep hitting it up. But still, even if that is you, keep in mind the possibility, in fact, the strong possibility, that it's not going to last that way for long. So, you know, you have to keep in mind other options. So what are those other options? Well, first of all, I'd tell you, definitely garage sales and estate sales. I make a killing off of going to those places, especially estate sales. Highly, highly recommend it. Now, you have to be careful with estate sales that you're going to one where it's not an estate liquidator who's known for charging super high prices for things. So you got to get a feel for your area. There's a distribution with it. There's some who are kind of in the middle in terms of pricing. There's others that are very, very reasonable. In fact, they're really literally liquidating the stuff. Those are the places I go to. And then there's people who, you know, charge $100 for a figurine that underneath the figurine it has a $25 price tag on it from Home Goods. So there's those people too, and those places you want to stay away from. So you gotta, you know, get out there and, you know, kind of just get familiar with who the people are in your area. But you'll see when you go to those places, especially garage sales, you'll find stuff so much cheaper than you'll get at the thrift stores. You know, at a minimum, you're going to be paying $2.99 for a shirt. At the thrift store, you could reliably get them for $1 or less, often even like a quarter, 50 cents when you're going to garage sales and estate sales. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, the thing about these sales is it really, how you could be successful at them is, now it's because it's true, you know, with estate sales and garage sales, they're advertised, people know about them as well. But if you're willing to wake up early and you're willing to get there early, you can make really good deals for yourself. So, you know, you got to be willing to put the work in, and how many sales you're willing to go to in one day. You know, if you're just willing to wake up at 11 o'clock in the morning and hit up one sale, you're not going to be that successful. But if you're willing to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, hit up a garage sale that looks good, do some research into what sales look good, go to some estate sales, you know, spend a day hitting up sale after sale after sale. Just crush it. Just put in the work. If you put in the work, you're going to usually get good results. Now, the other thing is, beyond the garage sales and estate sales, you also need to work social connections in your area. So get to know the people who run, for example, if you do clothes or collectibles, get to know the managers of the stores. Get to know the owners of family-owned stores. Make friends. Those types of places can be lucrative in terms of being able to make deals with those people for yourself. In addition to that, once you get kind of in with them, you'd be shocked at the types of places that they could tell you about have deals. They'll tell you about a store you never even knew of that's running a sale. They'll tell you about a Facebook group you never heard of that's running a deal. They'll tell you about a friend of theirs who's, you know, needs to get rid of something and they know you're interested in it, so they'll call you. Get friendly with those people. Get friendly with the estate sale people that you know in your area, so you could build connections with that and develop leads. Super important. Put out Craigslist ads. Put out ads on Facebook groups that you're interested in obtaining a certain type of item, and then work that source so that you could get in there ahead of anybody else. Make them contact you, not so you're always the one contacting the person who's advertising something. That's how you could get these ins that nobody else gets, and you'll have a competitive advantage over everybody. So you can see what I'm talking about. If you're willing to work harder at garage sales and estate sales, if you're willing to be strategic with it in terms of, you know, where you go, when you go, that could also help you out a lot. If you're willing to work super hard, if you're willing to develop those political connections, those social connections near you, put those ads together. You know, all this stuff I'm telling you, it requires a lot of work. It requires a bunch of effort. You know, for example, at this estate place, I'm there for 8 hours, literally hauling stuff out of a basement, out of all areas of the house, wearing a respirator mask, because it's just, you know, so musty, and, you know, just being down there for so long can cause breathing problems. So are you willing to do that type of stuff? Are you willing to wake up early? Are you willing to stay late? You know, all these types of things you need to do if you want to be able to really truly be successful and get stuff beyond the normal type of things that you're going to get, you know, at a thrift store or something like that. So I hope that this was helpful for you. You know, if you have a comment, leave down below. I'm curious how you're doing in terms of the thrift stores in your area. Have you noticed they've dried up? Are you having problems there? Or, you know, is it something that you're kind of doing so-so with? Or is it something you're doing really well with in your area? You know, it's still been something that's lucrative for you. You know, let me know. I'm curious to hear what your experience has been like. You know, for me, really, summertime, it's garage sales, estate sales, and a combination of all those other things that I mentioned. And the only time I really wind up going to a thrift store is if there are no sales going on that day. Maybe I have a day off or something on a Wednesday and there's just nothing going on. I'll hit one up if I happen to be near one, or if I have some time that I need to kill, I'll go in one. You know, come to think of it, I think there was one time that I mentioned I was at a thrift store in one of my videos where I got some remote controls, but, you know, that was, my son was at a basketball practice, and I just happened to be near one, so just to kill some time, I went over there. And, you know, but that's pretty much it. Winter time, you know, might be some, you know, might be pretty dead, might not be much going on in terms of any sales, so I might hit it up then. But that's pretty much it for me. So I'm curious to know what your experience is like. Before I go, just make sure you follow me at my Instagram account, which is at Primetime Treasure, no S, at Primetime Treasure. I'm using that a lot more in terms of brief video communications to keep in touch with you, especially on days where I can't shoot a full video on YouTube. So real important, like for example, I put a video up last night about the importance of keeping your car clean as a reseller. Come check that out. You know, I usually try to put like a little bit of funny stuff in there sometimes. So again, check me out at Instagram, and let me know, do you follow me from this channel, and I'll be sure to follow you back. Also, make sure you come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. We are at almost 2,000 people in that group. It's an absolutely amazing group of people. Please come by, check it out. The link is down below in the description section. In addition to that, make sure that, as I mentioned, that you comment, ask a question down below. Subscribe to this channel, real important, trying to get up to 1,000 people by the end of the year. And the other thing is, if you notice in my description section, I put a resource set of links together for things that have helped me in terms of, you know, supplies that have helped me be successful in my reselling business. So if you click on any of those links and buy any of that stuff, or just buy something else on Amazon through those links, that helps me out because they are affiliate links through Amazon. So I appreciate that. That helps support the channel. Thanks very much, and I'll see you at the next video, everyone.